One of South Africa's major credit bureaus, TransUnion, with information about the financial affairs of millions of South Africans, has been hacked. The hacker group is reportedly demanding $15 million or over 200 million rand for over 4 terabytes of compromised data. Let's find out what this means. We're joined by Manie Van Schalkwyk, who is the CEO of the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Van Schalkwyk. The hacker group spoke to IT Web and claims to have data on 54 million South Africans. Does that sound right? And what if this crucial financial data has been compromised? What does that mean for all of us who've had a bond or a cell phone contract or a credit card somewhere along the line? I mean, the list of things covered by a credit bureau is endless.
Yes, you're quite correct, and good evening, and thanks for inviting me. But you're 100% correct. I think we as consumers are vulnerable. We are at risk. This information, and maybe just give some context, the only reason why people are hacking companies to get their hands on their data is that they want to make money from us. They want to either open accounts in our name or they want to take over our accounts. Say at the bank or a retailer. And that is the main reason. They will not necessarily steal always enough data to be able to do it. So we need to be alert as consumers because we can expect a call from the fraudster and they will pose as the bank, for instance, to say they're phoning, as an example, from ABSA, and they want to just warn us that there is a debit order of about 40,000, a ridiculous amount, and they need to, and should they stop it? So they will also pose information. So they will try to make you feel comfortable and pose to say, and this is now the information that they steal. You live at this address, or this is your email address, and this is your telephone number. By that time, you're kind of feeling confident that the person is who he says he is. Then they pose the problem, say that this debit order of 40,000 going out your account, should they stop it? So of course we will say yes. Then the next step is the issue is that they will try to get their hands on data now, which they don't have. So they will something like this to say, my system just went down, please just give me your bank account details again. So the moment the system comes up, then I can stop it for you.
Yeah.
Things like, I shouldn't ask you, but give me your PIN. You know, those kind of things we should be careful of.
So thank you for that practical advice, because I guess we should all be feeling pretty vulnerable right now, even if TransUnion pays a ransom, which it says it won't pay a ransom. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But we never know if they'll actually stick to the agreement and hand the data back. I mean, that data has been compromised now.
Yes, no, and we saw that with a credit bureau in 2020. There was another credit bureau hack of about 20 million records. And I must say that within the South African Fraud Prevention Services, we saw impersonation, and I don't say that was the only contributor, but we saw impersonation going up by 300%.
Sure.
So where people are trying to open accounts in other people's names.
Let's talk about TransUnion. By the way, we did ask the company to come on, and they say they're not talking. I believe companies should talk even when there's an uncertain situation, because people need to know what's going on. Maybe they need to negotiate. I'm not sure. But there are serious questions about security here. TransUnion says a third party, the criminals obtained access to its server through the misuse of an authorized client using their credentials. And there must be so many people linking into this credit bureau looking at people's accounts. Apparently some talk that the password was password. So that would be on TransUnion. There are serious questions about how they got in.
Yeah, and I do think they are obligated to, number one, make sure that our data is secure, and number two, that they make sure that their security is of such a nature that it makes it very difficult. In the same breath, I need to say that I think all companies are sitting ducks, and we need to, as organizations, be extra vigilant to make sure that we have got the best security in place. But it takes one clever fraudster, and we are all compromised. So I'm very hesitant to show a finger, because I think we can only do our best. But is there an obligation to have strong passwords? Absolutely.
Finally, what is the history here? TransUnion says it won't pay a ransom. Do the companies often pay a ransom? Is the data sometimes not used, or is it always compromised and the ransom is just an extra bonus for this hacker group called, by the way, N4OTSecTU? Is that a well-known hacker group?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think what we saw in 2020 is that data made its way to the dark web again a year and a half later. So for hackers, which in its form is unethical, and to say that and believe them that they won't release the data and after a ransom is paid, I don't believe that for one moment. They can make money years after that.
Yeah. CEO of the Southern African Fraud Prevention Services, Manie Van Schalkwyk, thank you for talking to us about the TransUnion hack. And the message, Bongiwe, be very careful if somebody phones you and seems to have some information now about your accounts, because a lot of criminals could.
I'm refusing to take any phone calls going forward from anybody purporting to come from the banks.